Get yourself comfortable in your chair. Let your chair do the work of supporting you. You get to relax in this place where you are. Situating yourself however is most comfortable for you. And then we breathe in and we release. And again, in and release. And one more, as we breathe in that knowledge of spirit, and we breathe out whatever is ours to let go of right now. As we remember, we are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth. It is us. It is our imagination. It is our actions. It is our belief. It is our presence that brings spirit to this place. So I invite you now to just sit and be in this knowing. Let me say, and then you say with me, I am the voice.
I am the voice.
I am the hands.
I am the hands.
I am the heart.
I am the heart.
The spirit on earth.
Spirit on earth.
And let's just be with that for a couple of minutes of silence. As we return to this place in time, we are renewed in our own wisdom of who we are, and what we bring to each and every situation in our lives. We give thanks for ourselves and for each of those people around us. We give thanks for divine imagination active in our lives. And with that we say, Amen.
Just my imagination, really.
So really? Just my imagination? Whoa. Imagination is huge. But have you ever said that to yourself? Or to someone else? Oh, that's just your imagination. Right? Oh, that's just your imagination. Oh, that's just my imagination. It can't possibly be real, whatever real is. And today we're here to talk about divine imagination in our lives and how huge it is and how important it is. So if you felt the same shock of this kitty, you were right on track. Because anytime we go to that place of just my imagination, we are belittling something that is critical in our lives and in our world. So last Sunday, Reverend Julianne gave us this stone, Imagine, to help us with our month. As we go through this year, we're emphasizing the 12 powers. And it's really nice because we get all 4 or 5 different takes on what this power is from our different speakers as we go through the month. So this month is imagination. I rediscovered a little book by Cora Diedrich Fillmore, who was actually Charles' second wife. This is not an unusual kind of story, right? She was his secretary for many years. And after Myrtle passed, the two of them married. And Cora has a wonderful little book that I've read before, and it captures information on the 12 powers. And this time I read it, I don't know if I read it differently or it spoke to me differently, but I really resonated with this little book. And this is one of the things she said. It is through divine imagination that the soul first gets the impulse to expand. Isn't that beautiful? That the soul first gets the impulse to expand. And isn't that what we're here about? Our souls expanding? Expanding, expanding, expanding. And it's divine imagination that is that trigger that says, okay, you're headed down another path right now. You're going to do something different. You're going to do something inspired. You're maybe going to do something you've never done before. Maybe you're going to do something you never imagined you would do before. But this spark of imagination says, you know what? I'm just going to try that. And I'm going to see what that feels like or what that looks like in my life. Imagination lies in the center of action directly between the eyes. This place we often refer to as the third eye, which sees beyond what we take in through the two physical eyes. It's another interpretation. And this picture of the third eye, like this is the depiction we saw. Zoya and I spent a semester in eastern Siberia. It's been several years ago now. And that part of Russia is Russian Orthodox because the European Russians went east. But historically, it's Buddhist. And we saw depictions of the third eye, lots of places. We went, lots of different museums. And when I went online to look at Google Images, lots of the third eye variations had just another eye right here, right? The same as these two eyes, but here. But this is the way we saw it in Buddhist country. A different look. It's a different take. It's a different perspective that says, we're now going to take in this information differently. And we're going to process it differently. And that's what imagination does for us. But imagination can also power worry, right? We can start to imagine the worst scenarios happening in our lives. Okay? That's a place we don't want to stay. We have the ability to envision all sorts of erroneous thoughts and feelings. And Charles Fillmore said this. Just like we have the ability to imagine all kinds of divine, we have this imagination as well. So in Job we read, truly the thing that I fear comes upon me, and what I dread befalls me. And didn't Job live that story? Everything he feared came to pass. And this is what we get to know. If we want to sit in that fear, if we want to dwell in that fear, hello? That's what's going to come visiting. If I want to be afraid of this or afraid of that, it just may very well come to pass. And in Unity, we often say, to set it right, see it right. We can flip that, right? To set it wrong, or to set it in fear, see it in fear. So we have a choice to make as to how we want to use our imagination. Now, it's no wonder that imagination falls in the 6th month as we do it through the year. Imagination is the 6th in a series of 12 powers. And Charles Fillmore put these together in something of a chronological order. So look what we need first. Love, power, and power is really about distinguishing what is ours. Strength. Strength is also thought of as stability, that fortitude to say, this is mine to do, and I'm going to do it. Wisdom, to make these choices, right? Wisdom comes in. Do we want to be in fear? Do we want to use our imagination for fear? Or do we want to use it for something else? So wisdom comes to play before we enact that imagination. And faith. Of course, faith. Yes, if I can imagine this, I can do something with this. So imagination is first grounded in especially wisdom and especially love. From Cora's little book again. Intelligent seeing is a form of divine imagination. We should always behold ourselves in a state of keen, intelligent knowing. And when she used this word intelligent, it was really more like divine. So we should always hold ourselves in a state of keen, divine knowing, of keen paying attention. And she goes on to say, before the goal is reached, one perhaps must go through course after course of soul pruning. Soul pruning, right? To get rid of that fearful imagination. One must develop the power of specially beholding what is pure and true, excuse me, and perfect, right in the face of that which seems to be. Right? We can look at appearances. We can look at appearances all around us. And we can see fear. And we can see things we can interpret in all kinds of ways. But divine imagination says we must specially behold what is pure and true and perfect. And that's a pattern. That's a behavior that we can adopt. There was a little while ago that these emails were going around that showed like the back of a bus with a smile on it. I mean, you know, the lights appeared as a smile. Excuse me, I'm going to need to get some water in. That was a little challenge. So anyway, you've seen some of these, maybe the same one. Winifred Wilkinson Hoffman also has one of my favorite books on the 12 powers. One of the ways to keep your imagination on the true and good is to make it a point to observe or watch for the good everywhere. To observe or watch for. In other words, right, what can I take from this? What can I pull from this? Within and without. Within and without. So this morning, CBS Sunday morning, I've gotten to where I just started with Sunday with that again. Excuse me. Oh, dear. I'm just having a throat thing. They announced that Palestinian and Israeli presidents will pray this week with the Vatican. Wow. Right? Palestinian and Israeli presidents will pray this week with the Vatican. Okay? So we can notice things like that. We can notice things, we can pull them out of the ocean of other stuff and go, wow, I've got goosebumps actually. and realize how amazing that is. And there are situations like this around us all the time that we can watch for. And sometimes we need to be very diligent to watch for, because there's plenty of other stuff that we can get buried in. Your leadership council at Unity of Payson has decided to do a little bit more of this. At our last meeting, we decided that once a quarter, we would give our tithe to a local organization that is supporting good. Okay, because we want to do unity in the community. We want to watch for good and support good where we see it. And sometimes in Payson, and I'm as guilty of this as anyone, we can tend to look around and notice what we don't have. Right? What isn't here. What we wish were here. Don't get me going on Payson schools. But I only want to stay there long enough to help me figure out what to do. To look at what the issue is, to see what's going on, and to say, what can I do to impact this in a positive way? What's mine to do here? Okay? So we watch and we pay attention. And we say, how can I use my imagination to move this situation forward? On Friday, the daily word affirmation was, my life makes a positive difference in the world. Everyone please say that with me. My life makes a positive difference in the world. Have all of you made a positive difference in the world?
Yes.
Please nod. Yes. I know you have. I know each and every one of you has made a positive difference in the world. And this is something we want to remember every day, right? How can I make a positive difference in the world with my imagination? What can I imagine that would be different in this situation, and what can I do to move it forward? Each of us is given many gifts. As we discover them, we must put them into action. Jesus lived a dynamic and inspiring life. Through his works, we know of his many gifts. We, too, are known by the dynamic expression of our spiritual gifts. And today's daily word was illumination, right? This all goes together. Illuminating, imagining, and then acting on what is ours to do. There was another piece this morning on CBS this morning about Minnie Driver. Anybody else watch CBS this morning? Minnie Driver's been in a variety of movies over the last 15 or 20 years, and they were interviewing her and calling attention to the fact that she has been very deliberate about the roles that she has chosen over time. That she has wanted to have roles that make a difference, that make a statement, that put something out there. And she recently had the lead in a movie, a woman whose baby was stillborn at 8 months. And the real story is this, that the producer, director, ran out of money. They didn't have enough money to finish the movie. But there is a group of families who have experienced exactly this, late-term stillbirth, who put up the money. They got the money together and they said, this is an important movie. We want people to know what this experience is. They put up the money and they finished the movie. It's like, hello, these things happen around us in our world, and we get to make a difference. And Minnie Driver was saying, this group of families said this is an important story, and she said, we have so many movies out there that are absolutely hollow, right? That have nothing to tell us. And what's so important is that we tell stories that need to be told. Is that what we...
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's here visiting. I would like it to go outside. I know. I would like it to go outside.
Follow you.
It's following you. It wants to be with you.
Okay, maybe I'll go outside and you'll go with me.
It just
Let's go.
Take this
Yeah,
way.
let's go outside.
It's fine, Harrison. Do you want to just shepherd it?
Here, shepherd it with this.
Shall we put it in something for you?
Take it outside.
Just take it outside.
Here we go.
Do go outside.
Do you know the name of the movie?
You know, I didn't catch the name of the movie, but I'm sure if you Google Minnie Driver.
Yeah.
Yeah, after the story was done, I thought I didn't catch the name of the movie and I didn't have time to go back and see it. Oh, we bless Harrison.
It's making a difference. Be still.
Yes. So observe back out there pollinating flowers and fruit trees
You
and
came
doing.
back in.
No.
Yes, you did. That's what I'm about. I know. It's right sitting here.
It's right, we're, oh.
She wants to join Unity.
Are we gonna be okay, or do we need to try and get it back
Oh,
outside?
he's around, Bob. He's okay.
He's just cruising. He didn't mind yours.
Now I've got those.
Well, let's, if you allow it on my purse, I'll see if I can get them outside.
There.
Might shut the door this time.
It's a baby bee.
You just want some
It's a baby bee.
Just feels a good vibe.
Got it?
No.
Thank you, Phyllis. Are you going to go up?
Oh, he's over here.
Are we able to move
It's
forward?
on you, Terry.
There.
It's on Nancy.
Big mama flower.
Oh, it's confused.
Yeah,
Yeah, very slowly. Houston got it, very slowly.
A lot of friends.
No, no, no.
Join us.
Spray outside.
It's in your hat, right?
No, it's out now.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Wow.
Okay, a little bit of nature. Okay, now, this is actually a photo, a real photo, that my brother posted at his Facebook page.
Oh, wow.
It was last fall, and I remembered it, so I went back through his page to find it. And his caption was, "Is it me or is the world smiling?" Right? Is it me or is the world smiling? So what are we going to pay attention to? What are we going to use our divine imagination for? What? That's the view from, yeah, from the back of the house. So what are we going to pay attention to? Are we going to observe that the world is smiling? And how can we support those smiles? How can we build those smiles? How can we grow those smiles? How can we contribute our own smiles? Are we going to keep ourselves out of that mud that is so often around us? We can make this choice, guided by divine wisdom, divine love, divine faith. You know, yesterday, Zoya and I had an opportunity, we were up at Christopher Creek. This came to me out of nowhere 2 or 3 weeks ago, an opportunity to officiate at a marriage vow renewal ceremony. They found me online somehow. I don't think I have this out there about myself, although I think I will do that now. I will put that out there. And this is a couple who's been married for 20 years. She's in her 50s, he's in his 60s. And they decided they wanted to do a marriage vow renewal ceremony. So Zoya and I went up to Christopher Creek Lodge yesterday to do that. Very small, like 12 or so family members, very informal. And I've never been married. And it seems like whenever I've gotten to the point where I've known someone well enough to start to talk about marriage, one or both of us were like, no way. This is not going to happen. This is not our path. So I get this kind of like, oh, marriage, whatever. And then I see some of the couples who we have here at Unity, and it's very inspiring. And then we went up yesterday to do this marriage renewal ceremony, and it was just lovely. And I came to the part in the ceremony, and I had meant to talk to them about it beforehand, and I just forgot. But there's a part where it actually said, this is a good place for the couple to exchange their own vows or make any kinds of personal comments they would like to. And I forgot to ask them before if they wanted to say something. So we were at that part of the ceremony, and I looked at what I had in front of me, and I went, okay. And I said to them, this is a place where if you wanted to say something personal to each other or to your families, you could do that. And she said something about how she just loves this man so much, and it was such a change in her life when he came into her life, and they've had this wonderful 20 years, and looking forward to so much more. And she got all teary-eyed. And then he said how he prayed to God for a wife, but God gave him a family. And I thought, oh, you guys, he said. And he's this kind of like motorcycle-looking character, right? And he's all teary-eyed. And it was just so moving and so reminder to me again, look for the good. Look for the good in what's going on around us and take a chance to be part of that good, right? When we're invited to be part of that good. We also did Friday night, Cameron likes to sing karaoke. So some of us just went over to the Elks and Harrison sang karaoke and Zoya sang karaoke and Marianne and Charlotte and I sang karaoke. And what's that?
Happy trails.
We sang Happy Trails. And you know, it was just a chance, it's a chance to have fun. It's goofy, it's whatever it is. And it's a chance to have fun with people. And don't we want to do more of that in our lives? Grab on to those opportunities to just hang out and let those happy endorphins get active again. And remind ourselves what life is all about. It's about joy. Divine imagination, divine illumination, divine inspiration, and being in those places where that can happen for us. So is it me or is the world smiling? And again, back to Korah. In the silence, we learn to lift our vision above things as they commonly appear. And you know, lots of times, now you see that? The apple become butterfly. We can get caught in appearances. Look at that. Look, oh my gosh, isn't that awful? We can get caught in appearances. And we know underneath those appearances, there's something else. We can be in this place of divine imagination, of divine wisdom. Now, this kind of makes a reference to meditation, so I have to give us a little bit of levity here. I don't meditate well. I may have said that here before. Sitting still is not my forte. Okay? It's just not. I sit down, I mean, Zoya knows, Zoya did homeschool for the last year and a half. And I would sit at my computer to do something, and pretty soon there I'd be up and off again. And now that it's nice outside, I don't want to stay inside, right? So usually I work on the porch, which is kind of my compromise. But so sitting still and meditating, that just doesn't really work for me. But when I'm out in the yard, in the garden, when I'm out doing stuff, meditation happens. And for me, meditation is simply an opportunity to free my brain, to release my brain, to stop my brain, to be right here, right now. And however that happens for each of us. The minister we had at Unity of Eau Claire, Wisconsin said ironing was her meditation. She still ironed her sheets and her pillowcases because she said, that's when my mind lets go, is when I iron. So whatever it is for each of us. So at my birthday, my brother sent me this card. I tried meditation. I think I was doing it wrong. My meditation was, oh my God, I've got so much to do. I can't believe I'm sitting here wasting time cleaning. Instead of picking up my dry cleaning and making flight plans for next week. And hey, my chest hurts. Maybe I should see a doctor. So how did he know? I don't know. I've never talked about meditation, but I read this and went, oh, that is so me and what happens to me. So I bring that in partly to say, in the silence, in whatever your practice is, that helps you let go of all of that busyness and get right back to center. Because one of the pieces, this is another book on the 12 powers. I keep finding them. I'm almost finished here. James Dillett Freeman wrote this piece on imagination, and he's the guy who wrote the peace song. Okay? He's Unity's poet laureate. He wrote all kinds of poetry and books of poetry. Here's what he says about imagination. My imagination and I have had an off and on love affair that began before I can remember. We love one another, and sometimes we can't draw apart, but sometimes we can't get together. Sometimes I come running after her, demanding that she tell me what's going on. Sometimes she comes running after me, demanding that I listen to what I would rather not hear. I learned a long time ago that I can't tell her what to say. I have to ask her what she wants to say. Then I have to listen very closely. So there's James Dillett Freeman's take on imagination. So we got to pay attention. right? In those little moments, whatever is true in Philippians, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is pleasing, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence and if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. Imagine on these things. Imagination is not a talent of some people, but is the health of every person. That's a way to think about it, isn't it? Our divine imagination is part of our health. So, who, me? Yes. Each and every one of us. Divine imagination. Thank you.